The Naughtiest Reindeer by Nicki Greenberg. Rudolph the reindeer was lying in bed with a runny red nose and an ache in his head. "I'm sorry," he groaned. "I just can't pull a sled. You'll have to ask my sister Ruby instead." "Ruby!" cried Dasher, Dancer, Prancer, Vixen, Comet, Cupid, Donner, and Blitzen. "Not Ruby! She's naughty, she's flighty, she's silly, she's wild. She'll wee down the chimneys or trample a child. She'll chew all the presents, she'll knock down the trees. I'd rather a camel. Not Ruby. No, please." "Stop whining, you lot," boomed out Santa's big voice. "It's Christmas tomorrow. We haven't a choice." "Come Dasher, come Dancer, come Prancer and Vixen. Come Comet, come Cupid, come Donner and Blitzen. Come Ruby. Come Ruby. Ruby. Oh dear. Where's that deer?" "Yippee!" shouted Ruby. "I'm here! I'm here! Me on a sleigh! Oh, fabulous day! The North Pole's so dull. Let's go south right away. Goodbye, elves. Goodbye, workshop. Goodbye, ice and snow. Here we go, here we go, here we go, here we go." "Oh dear," said the deer. For most of the night, things were going all right, delivering toys, though the timing was tight. Ruby tried hard, just as hard as she could, to be quiet, obedient, careful, and good. But pulling a sleigh wasn't really much fun. It was packed full of toys, but she couldn't have one. And while Santa went in and got cookies to eat, she had to wait fidgeting out in the street. "I'm bored," grumbled Ruby. Then she had an idea. "Oh dear." "Ruby, no! Ruby, no!" said the deer. The trouble began right here in your street. Ruby squeezed through a window with mud on her feet, tripped over a cat and spilled milk on the floor, got tangled in tinsel, then crept out the door. "That was fun," giggled Ruby. "How about just one more?" But could she stop? She could not. At number 11, she raided the kitchen, tried on Christmas stockings, and broke all the stitching. At number 13, she destroyed Grandma's purse. And at 26A, she did something much worse. In house after house, Ruby muddled and messed. And by daybreak, well, Santa was horribly stressed. "Disaster!" he wailed. "Christmas morning is here. We're running behind, all because of that deer. Home, Dasher, home, Dancer, home, Whoosie and What's-It. The sun has come up and poor Santa has lost it." Worse yet, there were presents still left in his sack. He'd missed out one house and he couldn't go back. Those children will just have to wait till next year. No Christmas for them, thanks to that wretched deer. By the time he got home, Santa's head was quite hazy. "You missed out a house?" yelled his wife. "Are you crazy?" "We'll be out of a job," she cried, seizing an elf. "Just hand me those presents. I'll go there myself." "Quick, come Dasher, come Dancer, come Prancer and Vixen. Come Comet, come Cupid, come Donner and Blitzen. Come Ruby, come Ruby, Ruby, where's that deer? Mr. Claus, sputtered Mrs. You've left her behind. Forgetting a deer? Are you out of your mind? You'd lose your own beard if it wasn't stuck on. And then, with a shake of the reins, she was gone. Meanwhile, right here in your street, 2 children woke up full of Christmas Day cheer. They'd written to Santa and been good all year. They'd rushed down the hall to look under the tree. But their hearts sank, their smiles fell. For what did they see? A big empty space where their presents should be. It was bad. They were sad. Santa's been, cried the boy. Look, he's eaten his cake and drunk all his milk. Has there been a mistake? But just then his big sister jumped up with a shout, for there on the sofa with crumbs on her snout was a deer, a real reindeer, curled up fast asleep. Is it true? They both gasped. Could she be ours to keep? From up on their perch on the roof on that bright Christmas day, Mrs. Claus and her team watched the new friends at play. As they cartwheeled and capered, she heard Ruby say, Let me stay, I'll be good, let me stay. Goodness me, Mrs. Claus said, you've got quite a nerve. After all that mischief, you hardly deserve. Then she stopped and she thought, I don't know if I ought. Well, she said, you haven't exactly been good, she said. But since it's Christmas, all right. Yippee, shouted Ruby. Then quickly, before the 2 children could see, up into the sky whizzed the sleigh and its team. Goodbye, Dasher and Dancer and Prancer and Vixen. Farewell, Comet and Cupid and Donner and Blitzen. Merry Christmas, they whispered. Be good, Ruby dear. Wipe your feet, mind your manners. We'll see you next year.